Reports suggest that managing someone at the top of the music industry comes with responsibilities most people never see. There were moments when business decisions had to be made, even difficult ones. Throughout transitions in employment status, financial support continued but scenes. Compensation kept flowing to ensure stability during uncertain times. Artists under contract remained protected because the goal was never to cause harm. It was about growth and understanding the corporate world from the inside. There was a particular security professional, sources indicate, who played a foundational role from the very beginning. This individual allegedly helped provide financial backing during the early stages, keeping key talent close before major label deals were secured. Analysts believe that 2024 became a turning point for many powerful figures in entertainment. According to some observers, truth has a way of surfacing no matter how long it takes. Those who react negatively to such statements may have their own reasons for discomfort. Just moments ago, new claims emerged from a former insider. Once again, conversations surrounding Sean Diddy Combs are expanding and becoming increasingly difficult for the industry to ignore. This voice is not random. The man speaking once served as Diddy's personal bodyguard during the height of Bad Boy Records. He stood close enough to witness how influence truly operated behind closed doors. He now suggests that what the public saw was only a carefully crafted image. The real story, he claims, involves mentorship, learned patterns, and an entire system that chose to look away. According to him, Diddy's behavior was not accidental. He alleges it was modeled, normalized, and even celebrated early in his career. From Uptown Records to Bad Boy's explosive rise, the narrative involves ambition, influence, and moral boundaries being quietly crossed. This discussion comes after Diddy's October 2025 conviction and sentencing to 50 months in prison, a moment many view as confirmation that whispers from the past are finally being taken seriously. What makes this situation different is the scope. This is not just about one man. It's about systems, mentors, celebrities, and cultural moments that shaped an entire era. There are also criticisms of major documentaries, particularly regarding what has been left out, especially when it comes to responsibility, accountability, and lives lost. This is not gossip. This is about power, silence, and how far influence can reach before the consequences arrive. Interview begins. Diddy got indicted. You called it weeks ago. You said it would happen in September. Anyone in law enforcement or anyone who understands how these things work knew it was coming. When Homeland Security raided his properties, people in the know understood it was only a matter of time before charges would be filed. I just figured out the timing based on grand jury schedules and information from witnesses. I estimated it would happen around September. It's difficult to watch someone with so much potential, someone who became an icon in the music business, tear his entire life apart. But according to reports, this comes down to his mentors and the people who trained him. He wasn't born into this behavior. He was shaped by it. The things he allegedly had to do to rise to the top, those experiences allegedly changed him. He learned from what was done to him, and then, sources suggest, he repeated those patterns with others. You should never want something so badly that you lose your principles. You should never be willing to do anything to succeed. Morals matter. But in that industry, analysts believe those values often get discarded. And that's allegedly what happened. When he was in New York, he was observant, like a gecko, quietly watching. But when he moved to California and Miami, he transformed. He became something much larger, much more dangerous. He says this tragedy should never be treated as a footnote. According to him, it represents early signs of negligence, ego, and poor decision-making that allegedly followed Diddy throughout his career. He claims his security team was removed the day before the event. He alleges exit doors were mishandled during the chaos and that money became a priority over safety. These claims have circulated for years, but he argues they're still being avoided in mainstream storytelling. That's why he criticizes the Netflix documentary released in December 2025. He says it recycled surface-level information while avoiding deeper accountability. He claims the documentary left out key names, full timelines, and footage that could have changed public understanding. Documentary controversy. How did you get that footage? And what does it show? I got it. That's all I'll say. What do you think it conveys? One major theme of the series is showing how brilliant Sean Combs is at marketing, at owning and controlling the narrative at all times. Right? So why would that stop when his life is on the line? On the surface, that's what it is. But as you go deeper, you start to see how some of these tactics played out during the legal process. You show his early rise. You also give time to alleged victims, both women and men. Why is that important? Because victims of sexual violence are victims regardless of gender. That shouldn't even be part of the conversation. This series was a platform for these alleged victims to share their truth and provide context, especially when so much was reduced to sensational headlines. Oh, they finally had time to tell their full story. The film takes us behind the public relations machine. You see Diddy the day he's learning about new lawsuits while preparing for a possible criminal arrest. This is another moment from footage that won't be fully explained. He also reveals he refused to participate without proper compensation for himself and others he felt were essential voices. When his terms were rejected, he walked away. He believes this led to a cleaner, safer version of the story being told. To him, the problem isn't money, it's history being edited. When documentaries avoid uncomfortable truths, he argues they protect systems rather than expose them. Cat Williams' prophecy. Cat Williams' 2024 Club Shay Shay interview now feels prophetic to many. All these powerful figures are catching hell in 2024. It's coming for all of them. Doesn't matter if you're Diddy or anyone else. Every lie will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way knows exactly why they're uncomfortable. He connects Williams' jokes and warnings to what later unfolded around Diddy. Williams never outright accused most people he named, but he made loaded comments. Names like Jay-Z, Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, and others were mentioned, not as criminals, but as people who allegedly benefited from proximity, silence, or industry protection. Williams suggested many careers were boosted through relationships tied back to Diddy's influence. He supports this idea cautiously. He says he can't prove wrongdoing by these figures and no charges exist as of January 2026. But he claims many attended gatherings, accepted favors, or avoided speaking out when they should have. The most chilling claim? Recordings. Both he and Williams suggest that fear, not loyalty, kept people quiet. Whether real or exaggerated, the idea of leverage through silence has changed how audiences view celebrity friendships. Now that Diddy has been sentenced, he believes more people are nervous. Not because they committed crimes, but because they know what they ignored. And in today's climate, silence can look like guilt. Artists left behind. He repeatedly returns to one theme. Diddy rose, but many around him fell. He names artists like Craig Mack and Black Rob as examples of talent that was allegedly used, discarded, and forgotten. He also revisits the death of Biggie Smalls, suggesting that poor decisions, ego, and unresolved conflicts created deadly environments. He also discusses Anthony Wolf Jones, claiming financial disputes and disrespect led to long-term consequences. Again, these are allegations, not proven facts, but he frames them as patterns, not isolated incidents. This young man told me his life story. I tried to stop people from going to that party. It was his decision. Even when I tried to ride on the side of the truck, I was told, if you don't get in this car, you'll never work for Bad Boy again. I should have said forget Bad Boy and done what I knew was right. That kid lost his life. It wasn't technically my responsibility, but I was there. He had his own security, but I was still there. I knew something was going to happen. I was willing to ride on the side of the vehicle to protect him. Someone came to Diddy and said there was going to be a problem in the streets. They handed over something for protection. But Diddy reportedly refused. The situation escalated. Wolf was the one who brought me back into Bad Boy. I heard him say something that connected to what federal prosecutors later discussed about a confrontation involving members of a known organization. I knew the atmosphere was being manipulated. Wolf was killed by two individuals allegedly connected to that group, and Diddy reportedly disrespected Wolf's mother afterward. If Wolf were alive and knew about that, we wouldn't be talking about Diddy today. According to him, Diddy prioritized image and control over people. Once someone stopped being useful, they were allegedly pushed aside. This, he says, is the real legacy people avoid discussing. With Diddy now serving time, he says the conversation shouldn't stop at punishment. It should extend to reflection. Who benefited, who stayed quiet, and who paid the price? The wider circle. As these claims continue circulating, attention has shifted to the wider circle of celebrities linked, directly or indirectly, to Diddy's private gatherings. Over the years, these parties have been described not as simple celebrations, but as invitation-only spaces where power, influence, and opportunity quietly mixed. I didn't talk much about Tyler Perry. I didn't really talk about Diddy at first. There's certain things where I think, let me see what happens with this, because I don't want to say something about someone and then have to take it back later. There were things said about other figures, some praised, some questioned, but I never made direct accusations. There are things in the news now. I would even say I'd love to work with some of these people if given the chance. Who's next in line? Everyone's watching. People are waiting to see who gets named next. Figures like Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, Tyler Perry, Ludacris, Steve Harvey, and others have been mentioned in public commentary. Not because of proven crimes, but because of their proximity to Diddy during critical moments in their careers. Some critics believe attendance itself became a kind of unspoken contract. Show up, stay silent, and doors open. He doesn't accuse these individuals of wrongdoing, but he suggests many benefited from an environment where questioning authority was discouraged. Cat Williams framed these connections as strategic, hinting that industry advancement often followed loyalty rather than merit. The rumors surrounding hidden cameras, private recordings, and leverage have only intensified suspicion, even without evidence being made public. In this atmosphere, silence became currency. For some, maintaining distance publicly while remaining connected privately was seen as survival. Others allegedly distanced themselves only after Diddy's legal troubles became unavoidable. As of January 2026, none of these celebrities face charges related to Diddy's parties, and all allegations remain unproven. Still, public perception has shifted. Fans are now rewatching old interviews, jokes, and collaborations with a different lens, wondering whether success was earned purely through talent or quietly assisted by proximity to power. In the end, the controversy is less about what happened at these gatherings and more about what people were willing to ignore to protect their place in the industry. The untold stories: you had a security professional named Anthony Wolf Jones who was with Bad Boy from the very beginning, handling security and helping finance operations, keeping key artists around before the major label deal happened. That story wasn't told in the documentary because they didn't have the intel or didn't do the investigation. That story also connects to why Wolf isn't here today. They didn't tell the story about the woman involved in the city college situation. It was Diddy, Heavy D, and her. She was allegedly the reason those kids lost their lives because she locked the door on them as they ran down the stairs. You can find her name in news articles, but they didn't mention her role. They tried to put Heavy D out there, rest in peace, and they put Diddy out there. But she should have been the main focus because she allegedly locked the door on those kids. Had she not done that, not a single child would have died. Not one. Who else is nervous? I don't think it's only celebrities who are shaken. There were politicians at those gatherings. There were international figures. There were even religious leaders. Do you personally think there are tapes? If certain statements can be trusted, and if what's been said is true, then yes, they have tapes. The message: this is not just about Diddy. It's about how power operates when no one challenges it. Diddy's 2025 conviction closed one chapter, but it opened many uncomfortable questions about mentorship, silence, and accountability in entertainment. He believes karma works slowly but thoroughly. Careers rise, truth waits, and eventually the past catches up. The question now is simple: how many people knew more than they admitted? And how many stories are still waiting to be told? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any new content. Until next time, stay informed.